We all know that feeling of flying down your local trail, flowing down it, but then you see that jump in front of you. It's that time when the e-bike, when the wheels come off the ground, it can be pretty intimidating, especially if you've got the wrong techniques. Today's video, we're going to be taking a look at your common jumping mistakes and how we're going to rectify them. So when it comes to common mistakes, let's talk about bike setup when it comes to jumping. First things first is seat height. When you're hitting a jump, you want to be able to get behind that bike and throw yourself around all over it. So get that seat dropped nicely out the way. If you've got a standard dropper, just slam it, or if you've got a normal seat post, get that swivel down right out the way. You need to be able to get over that back end of the bike. Let's talk about tire pressure as well. If you've got soft tires on your e-bike, they're going to squirm a lot, so they're going to deform up the steeper takeoffs and cause a lot of tire squirm, so the bike's going to feel a little bit unpredictable on those takeoffs. So stick, if you're just going to be doing jumps alone, stick around above 30 sort of PSI to allow that tire to stay in its normal shape, no squirming. So let's talk about suspension when it comes to your e-bike and jumping. I tend to run a slightly stiffer suspension setup on my e-bike. I'm going to be doing jumps, add a few PSI in the forks and especially into the rear shock as well. If the suspension's too soft, you're going to find that bike's going to bottom out on the takeoff. So if it bottoms out, it's got no energy to be released from that suspension out of the takeoff. Also, when it comes to rebound on that shock, especially on the rear, just make sure it's not rebounding too fast like a springboard, because as soon as you come up that lip, that back end's going to want to kick, probably try and chuck you over the handlebars. Okay, that's the bike dialed in. Let's talk about me. Obviously, I'm going to be wearing a helmet. Up to you. If you're feeling confident, an open face is good, gives you good vision. You can look down and see landings and things. Feeling a little less confident, stick a full face on. It's obviously going to protect you a lot more if things do go wrong. You'll be wearing a set of full finger gloves, set of knee pads and elbow pads as well. Just gives you a little bit more confidence out there. Okay, so the biggest mistake that I see out on the trail when it comes to jumping is riders expecting that lip to do the work for you. The truth is 70 to 80% of that jump is actually done by you and the preload before the jump. You actually need to preload that suspension, squash the bike down into the lip, not let the lip do all the work for you. You let that suspension work and send that bike over the jump. Let's talk about preloading that bike before we get to the jump then. So preloading is squashing that bike down, getting that rider's weight into the front and the rear shocks, giving that bike a bit of a squash down, sitting into its travel as you go up the face of the takeoff. So you're pushing down and into the takeoff rather than trying to go up and out of the takeoff. You squash down, and as that front wheel comes to leaving that jump, that's when you need to let that stored energy that you've put into the suspension explode up into the air, and that will drive the bike actually up rather than through the jump. One of the big mistakes I see riders doing out on the trail too much is hitting jumps way too fast. It means they've injected too much speed into that takeoff, thinking that they're going to overcompensate for that lack of technique on the takeoff by hitting the jump even harder and faster. Overjump on a jump like this is just as dangerous, if not more so dangerous, than coming up short on it. You really need to look and adjust that entry speed to the size of the jump that you're actually doing. So the danger of the overjump is obviously that you're going to sail past that landing, something that you should be landing on two wheels together, nice and smooth. If you land nice and smooth on that trail, it's going to inject a load more speed and control down the trail. If you land it to flat, you're going to land really heavy, bottom out that suspension, your head's going to nearly hit your stem, you're going to be all out of control. It's going to look really nasty, so just try and adjust your speed to meet that landing perfectly smooth. Another mistake I see lots of riders doing is coming into jumps with really bad footwork, where you have your feet on the approach to a jump and into the takeoff is really, really important. They're all over the place. You're going to be going at that takeoff all sorts of shapes. So when you're coming into the jump, it's really important to get that setup dialed. Think about what you're doing. You're getting that pump on. Thing is, if you're pedaling all the way up and up the takeoff, your feet aren't going to be in the right place. You haven't thought about what you're going to do on that bike. You're going to forget about preloading. Your feet are going to be all over the place. Chances are you're going to go out that takeoff with your feet actually not flat. You're going to have one up, one down. Obviously, that's going to cause a big imbalance of you in the air. could cause a crash on the landing. So it's vital on any approach or a takeoff, those pedals need to be level on your bike. If you think you're going to stick any extra cranks in on the approach to a jump, it's actually bad news. You're actually going to be better by thinking about your preload technique, getting that dialed, and it's actually going to make you go further over that jump than any pedaling will do up that takeoff. So on the approach and the takeoff, you really need to keep those pedals level. If you drop a pedal, you could run that risk clipping that takeoff. And also if you drop a pedal in the air and move that weight, it's going to feel really nasty too. So you really need to keep pedals level. It's going to keep you nice and balanced up in the air over that jump. So the nosedive, we've all been there, probably one of the most nasty experiences when it comes to jumping your e-bike. That back wheel coming up higher than the back of your head and that front wheel dropping away. It's a really, really horrible position to be in. It's one of the most common causes of that horrible nosedive. It's actually weight position on the bike. It means that you've come into that jump, your weight's too far forward, you've gone up that takeoff and your weight's shifted even more far into the handlebars because you've gone into that steep face. So how do you remedy that nosedive situation? It's quite easy, you just need to get your weight and your body in the right position on the bike. If you're too far forward, it's going to do that classic nosedive situation like we've already talked about. If you're too far back, you're going to come up, that front wheel's just going to be going high through the air with the handlebars in your face. You really need to be in that mid zone on the bike, slightly rearward on the takeoff, and just move into that neutral zone on the bike. No big weight shift towards the rear or the front, and you should be hitting that jump nice and smoothly. Sailing over that jump, stiff as you like, rigid as a board, is not a good look to have out on the trails. The dead sailor, as is known in mountain biking, is when you come into a jump, you've hit it, you're not committed, you're not confident, something's gone wrong with your footwork, you've hit it too slow, too fast, a balance problem, lots of different reasons why that dead sailor can happen. So performing that dead sailor in the air is probably going to lead to a big crash. You're not going to be ready for that landing. Your bike's going to feel all out of shape in the air. You're going to feel all out of shape in the air. It's not a good one to be doing mid-air on that jump. So how do we remedy that dead sailor situation? Basically, you just need to have confidence in your abilities. If you're coming into this jump all stiff, tense, you're not going to work correctly and your bike's not going to work correctly. You're probably going to forget about things like your footwork, your feet are going to be in the wrong position, your weight's going to be in the wrong position. Just come into it, relax, practice, practice, practice. And obviously your confidence is going to increase if you keep pulling those jumps nice and safely. Don't push too hard too soon because that can lead to obviously big crashes too. So there you go, that's my common jump mistakes when it comes to jumping on your e-bike. Really hope today's video is going to help you guys out there on the trails. Don't forget, if you've enjoyed today's video, be sure to check out how to get the most out of your bike park on your e-bike up here. Really cool video, that one. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to EMBN for more e-bike content. Drop us some comments in the box below and we'll see you in the next one.